Don Quixote, the Knight of La Mancha. In the dry and dusty plains of La Mancha, Spain, there lived an eccentric man named Alonso Quixano. He wasn't a warrior or a nobleman. He was an aging, thin, book-obsessed gentleman who had read so many stories of brave knights and epic quests that he slowly began to lose touch with reality. And so, one day, he made a decision. He would become a knight himself. A real one. He would revive the age of chivalry and fight for justice. He changed his name to Don Quixote de la Mancha. He wore rusted armor, rode a bony old horse he called Rocinante, and chose a woman to be his muse, a peasant girl named Aldonza Lorenzo, whom he reimagined as the noble and elegant Lady Dulcinea. Thus began one of the most bizarre, beautiful, and beloved journeys in the history of literature. Chapter 1. The First Quest. Don Quixote rides off on his first quest. His mind is full of fantasies, but reality is much harsher. His first stop is an inn which he imagines to be a castle. He insists on being knighted by the innkeeper, who plays along out of amusement. In the stable, he battles imaginary enemies, actually innocent travelers. Chaos erupts, and the innkeeper sends him away before things get worse. Undeterred, Don Quixote charges on. He sees windmills on a hill. To him, they are giants. He shouts, lowers his lance, and charges. The windmill knocks him off Rocinante and spins him through the air. Injured but not defeated, he believes a wizard turned the giants into windmills. This becomes a pattern: illusion versus reality. Madness versus truth. Chapter 2. Sancho Panza, the Loyal Squire. Don Quixote recruits a neighbor, a simple farmer named Sancho Panza, to be his squire. Sancho is promised riches and governorship of an island, though he doesn't understand how. Sancho rides a donkey named Dapple, and together they roam the countryside. Sancho is grounded and realistic, but loyal, more than Don Quixote deserves at times. He often tries to warn his master about reality, but Don Quixote twists everything to fit his fantasy. Along the way, they encounter many ordinary events: funerals, travelers, inns, but Don Quixote turns them into epic battles, magical traps, or noble missions. People laugh, mock, beat, and sometimes pity him. Chapter 3. The Sad Knight. Not all is comedy. As Don Quixote continues, the absurdity becomes tragic. He meets people who remind him that the age of knights is over. He is beaten badly by real fighters. He tries to help people who don't want help and is often the cause of more problems. Still, he refuses to stop. He believes the world needs a knight. He writes poems for Dulcinea. He insists she is a lady of royalty, though she has never met him. He even orders Sancho to deliver letters to her, which Sancho pretends to do. This section reflects on purpose, delusion, and whether noble intentions justify madness. Chapter 4. The Duke and Duchess. Don Quixote and Sancho arrive at the estate of a wealthy duke and duchess. Amused by Don Quixote's madness, they decide to entertain themselves by staging elaborate tricks. They act as if his chivalric fantasy world is real. They make him believe that Dulcinea is under a curse and that only more adventures can save her. They make Sancho governor of a fake island just to test his simple wisdom. Surprisingly, Sancho proves to be a fair and kind ruler. These episodes blend comedy and cruelty, showing how society mocks dreamers. Chapter 5. The Fall. The games become exhausting. Sancho wants to return home. Don Quixote is tired but pushes forward for one final noble act. Eventually, his old friends and a priest come searching for him. They want to bring him back home and end his madness. They trick him by having a knight in disguise challenge him to a duel. If Don Quixote loses, he must return home and abandon his quest. He loses. Broken in spirit, Don Quixote returns to his village. Chapter 6. The End of the Quest. Back in his room, Don Quixote falls ill. As he lies in bed, the illusions begin to fade. He renounces his fantasies. He realizes he was never a knight, just a man lost in dreams. He thanks Sancho for his loyalty. He asks for forgiveness. And then he dies. Alonso Quixote, the man who dreamed too much, leaves the world behind. Ending reflection. Though Don Quixote's life ended in failure, he remains a symbol of something far greater. He showed us what it means to dream against the odds, to fight for ideals in a world that doesn't believe in them. Yes, he was foolish, but he was also brave. In a time of cynicism, Don Quixote reminds us that even delusion can be beautiful if it's rooted in hope. Because maybe, just